Good morning and happy Wednesday. Today we are continuing our reflections out of Philippians. I think this is like the 35th devotion, and we're deep into chapter 4. Yesterday I spoke about beauty. Today I want to talk about contentment. And I do this based on Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 and 12. Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstance I am. I know how to get along with humble means, and I also know how to live in prosperity in any and every circumstance. I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having abundance and suffering need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So the crazy thing here is that Paul is writing from a prison cell in Rome in the first century. These are not nice accommodations. And yet he's talking about a sense of contentment. I have this book. It's been sitting on my nightstand for a while. I started it. I made it to page 34, Titan. It's about Nelson Rockefeller. And I haven't made it very far in this book, in part because it's exhausting, because Rockefeller, in spite of his enormous wealth, some would suggest he had, 3 times as much money as Bezos or Gates in today's dollars, that he was not at peace. How much money is enough? He famously said, well, just a little bit more. And so the book is exhausting because he doesn't have any sense of contentment, and I haven't made it very far. And yet here's Paul writing from a prison cell in Rome, talking about being at peace and having contentment. So what I want to do today is set this up just a little bit by noting that it turns out happiness is hard work. And perhaps you've noticed this. Harvard Business School a while ago hired Arthur Brooks, a Catholic writer, public intellectual, whose focus is happiness. And they hired him for a variety of reasons, but one of which is that their graduates turn out are not all that happy. And they don't know how to have contentment, even sometimes with enormous success. And today's New York Times editorial by Ross Douthat, another Catholic intellectual, Ross, young guy, writes about how, having moved back to a college town, he's discovered that some of the elite college students, and he's, I think, speaking pretty exclusively about white Ivy League successful students, are not very happy, not very content, very stressed out, very little resilience. And I started watching Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary last night. I'm a little late getting to it. Only guy in Chicago perhaps that hasn't seen it yet, but I started watching it last night, and it's pretty obvious that Michael, in spite of incredible success, arguably the most famous guy on the planet, and 6 rings and just phenomenal success, that perhaps contentment is not how you would describe him. Now, I don't want to pick on Michael Jordan. I don't want to pick on Ivy League students. I don't want to pick on anybody. I just want to note there are reasons for this, and I can speak from my own heart. First of all, sin. So Augustine, the great early church theologian, Augustine famously writes about this, and he steals a pear one day, not because he's hungry, but because he just wants to do something bad, and it starts him on this reflection he realizes that he's broken. And he'll write in some of his other works and talk about the fact, Confessions in particular, he'll talk about the fact that he was not happy where he was living, and he thought, if I could get to Carthage, then I would be happy. He gets to Carthage, and he gets an appointment, but he's not happy there. So then he gets appointed to Rome. He's moving up, and he's excited. He'll be happy in Rome, but he's not. And then it's Milan, and that's where the emperor is. If he can get to Milan, he'll be happy. And it turns out it doesn't work that way. So he's going to realize it's his heart. And he's not the first to realize this. I mean, the Greek philosophers recognized that hedonism didn't work. And so I'm going to stop there, other than to say this. Today, I want you to reflect on all the blessings in your life. Make a list, at least 20 things that you can be thankful for. And we'll pick this topic of contentment back up tomorrow.